Before we start, any questions? We have a couple of minutes, 3-4 minutes are there. Any questions?
That idea about the dream state.
Yeah.
I don't know, in my own sort of mind I formulated that the dream is as much of the dream as everything else, like the waking reality is sort of dreamlike, the dream state is sort of dreamlike, but it's still all kind of illusionary.
Yes.
Yeah.
However, yes, I see the point that, why not argue that the dream state is similar to the waking state? Isn't that what we need to take away from this discussion? The short answer is no. And Adi Shankara elaborates for 3 pages, why not? Because he says that in the waking state, you see, the waking state is the predominant state because it has an empirical reality where everything has an empirical standing and where alone you are both the doer, the agent, and the recipient of actions. What you have asked is a very important question. Okay? So you are both the agent of action in the waking state, in what we call the waking state, and also that you are also a recipient of action. Correct? You are karta and bhokta. Now the dream state is a spin-off of the waking state, right? Where the waking state doesn't really exist, but you see its imprint in the dream state, because if you have a pleasant dream, it's the karma that was performed not in the dream, but in the waking state that inheres. You see? So if you're being marauded by a herd of wild elephants, as the example here, it's because of some karma that you did in the empirical state of the birth, all these things, which is also a spoof, agreed. But you cannot see them as the same order of reality. Because one is purely subjective, but that purely subjective reality, based on one's own raga, dresha, impressions, samskaras, etc., is what? Is dependent upon the waking state. It is spun from the waking state. It's made up of the remnants of the waking state. So you can see the imprint of the waking state in the dream, in as much as you can only dream what you know. You can never dream what you don't know.
So sort of like Thanksgiving leftovers.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Like today you eat, yesterday what you cooked. Yeah. Yesterday's food, This is what it is. So the two are not the same. You cannot say one is an extension of the other, because then we would be giving it the same reality. Alright? So this is the example. The example is that, the ease with which one goes from one state to another is the ease with which one migrates, the Atma, so to speak, migrates from one thing to another thing without being affected by anything. That's the whole idea. So in that sense, it's comparable because, it's comparable because both of them are falsified ultimately, but then you cannot falsify both the waking and the dream unless you inhabit this reality of Jyoti Swarupa. Then you can say that it's as though falsified. Yeah, one is subjective, one is objective, but for the sake of, from where we stand, both of them are projections. One is an inhibited projection within the larger. So it's a projection within a projection. It's like those Russian dolls, one inside the other. Yeah. Yes, like a movie within a movie. That's the dream. Yeah. Well, the first movie is Ishvara's movie. The second movie, the dream, is Jiva's movie. But Jiva's movie cannot happen unless there is Ishvara's movie. Yeah. That's what the whole thing is. Om Sahana Bhavatu Sahanau Bhunaktu Sahaviryam Karavavahai Tejasvinavadhitamastu ma vidvishavahai. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. So if you want to know more about liberation, give up the cows. Cows symbolize attachment to raga and dvesha. That's why in the modern parlance they say, don't have a cow. Yeah. It's not bribing the teacher. In fact, the best way you can bribe the teacher is to show your readiness to learn. That's the best and the only bribe the teacher is looking for. The teacher doesn't want wealth or cows or cowries, whatever it is. No. So, therefore, Yajnavalkya stops talking, not because he's testing him, but in a way, what happens here to the student is something which is all too familiar, that the student takes the teacher for granted and the teaching for granted and the teaching wears off. And that commitment to the teacher and the teaching has to be renewed by giving up raga dveshas and getting ready right then and there and remembering this is all for the sake of moksha. We are not writing a PhD thesis on dream state, waking state, who cares? Right? Yeah. So where were we? 1,000 more cows were given. And then Yajnavalkya opens his mouth again. And then he says this famous sentence. That in this describing the sleep, he says that there is no desire. 21st mantra, yes, a big gap, but nonetheless, it is important. So that is his form. Atichandaha means so free. Free of what? So free of all desires. OMG, it's, wonderful. Apahata papmanam abhayam rupam. Apahata papma abhayam rupam. It is free of papa punya. In the dream, papa punya play out. Remember the elephants and the bhajan. Okay? Yeah. In the dream, the papa punya play out. In sleep, what papa? What punya? What is there other than oneself? In all of one's glory, united with oneself. The light doesn't go out traveling to the waking or to inhabit the waking state as the waker or the dreamer. Here the light has come home like even a falcon that has glided and come to the nest. And that home is symbolized by the word Om, which is Nirguna, free of attributes of waking, dreamer, sleep, free of attributes of Jiva, Ishvara, free of everything. It is itself in its own glory, Sve Mahimni Tishtati. Sve Mahimni Tishtati, abiding in its own glory. Elsewhere it is said, Tat Yatha Priyaya Striya Samparishvaktah Na Bahyam Kinchana Veda Na Antaram. And so what is a person like? The person is in Ananda. But how do I understand this Ananda? A very nice example is given. Like one embraced by a beloved, is not aware of anything outside or within, is just so feeling so secure and so wonderful and feeling so present in the moment that there is nothing outside, nothing within, and feeling so fulfilled and glorious. Like that, nothing inside, nothing outside at all. And then what is this state like further? 1,000 more cows later, it is explained. Tatra pita apita bhavet mata amata lokaha alokaha devaha adevaha vedaha avedascha. There the father in the waking state becomes what? No father. In sleep is one a father? Say no so we can move on. Come on. Yeah. So, in sleep is one a mother? No. Thank God, because all the mothering has been left. There is no mother, no father, no identity. Mata amata bhavati, pita apita bhavati. And then the loka, the world that I was relating to in the waking or the dream. In the sleep, what is there? No loka. I am the loka. No loka at all. No loka, therefore no loko. Yeah, no loka, no loko. And then what, and all other identities are there, which were not there. And then devas, all the devatas are no longer devatas, and then there is no Veda. Veda becomes non-existent. Everything becomes non-existent. And then 22nd mantra. Atra stenah asteno bhavati bhrunah abhrunaha chandalo achandalah paulkaso apaulkasah shramanoho ashramanah, and atapasoho atapasah, and then what is this? Suppose this is connected to deep, this is dismissing all the deep identities. Like an incarcerated person thinks, I'm a thief, I'm a terrible person, I'm a thief. In sleep, the thief has now become what? No thief. Someone who has killed a scholar, Brahmana hatti, Bhruna hatti, Bhrunaha it's called. So someone who has killed a Brahmana, very bad, it's very bad to kill a Brahmana, very bad papa. Here is freed of that karma completely, because that is the self. It's free of being a thief, it's free of the karma of killing anybody or anything, even a scholar. And then here, someone even belonging to an ashram is what? Not belonging to an ashram. Even a monk is a amanko bhavati, not a monk. Yeah. Ananvagataha, untouched, where there is no association with papa, no association with punya. Papena tirnaha, crosses all papa. Sarvan shokhan hridayasya bhavati. So beyond all the woes and the longings of the heart. Doesn't this place state sound good? Yeah. And then what? There one does not smell anything in that state. Why? Because there is nothing outside one to smell. Doesn't see, this is the famous statement here. There is no loss of witness because the witness is imperishable. Natu drashtuhu drashtehe viparilopaha syat viparilopo bhavati. Here it is in the mantra number 23. Nahi drashtuhu drashtehe viparilopo vidyate abhinashitvat. Very important statement. You can highlight that. Something to really dwell upon. That the vision of the witness can never be lost because it is imperishable. But then there is no second thing that it is separate from, which it can see and witness. So the vision of the witness is never lost. It's always all seeing. But then here there is nothing to see because there is no differentiation. Nothing to see, nothing to smell, nothing to think, nothing to, there is no thinker separate, there is no taster separate. Like this, all the organs of action and the organs of the senses are gone through very, very carefully. There is nothing, no second thing to speak of, there is no second thing to experience, etc., etc., no second thing to hear, no second thing to think, no second thing that it is separate from, to touch, nothing to taste, and nothing to know. There is nothing to know separate from itself. It is everything. And so there is nothing to know. And therefore what? There is no separate second thing which it can know, which it can touch, by which it can be touched. It is all knowing. It is the all knowing self, And then, only when there is, differentiation, one can smell, see, taste something different, But here there is nothing other than oneself. That's why sleep is so coveted. That's why nobody wants to wake up, because sleep is ananda. Sleep is being one with that light of all lights, where the light is undifferentiated. There is no jagat in sleep, there is no samsara in sleep, there is no jagat converting into samsara in sleep, there is no pain in sleep, there is no hope, there is no, anything is not there. Only that glorious infinite light of all lights is there, which cannot be witnessed and then there is nothing it witnesses either. It is neither the subject nor the object. And that's why, it's an experience it is there, but there is no experiencer. That's why when you wake up, the cravings wake up before you do. And then they nudge on the shoulder, get up, fulfill me. The desires, the longings, the pain wakes up before you do, and the pain wakes you up, prods you to wake up. So very interesting. So then moksha is easy. What to do? Go to sleep. Like a bear, Is that the answer? No. Cognitively, this is what has to be understood. And this, this I, as the light of lights, when you abide in it as it, then all the other, things are just as though coming, as though dreaming, as though waking, as though sleeping, as though experiencing, as though moving away, as though coming together, And then it is described here, Dresha paramagatihi. Not the sleep state is not paramagatihi. What the sleep state represents and exemplifies, that oneness with the Atma, is paramagatihi. Is the ultimate absolute thing to know, to be. And then, this is mantra 32. Yes, see, we are ahead now. That's nice. So, because we said we are only going up to 20s, but now we have up to 32. I think this is a good place to, take it up to. So, eshaha asya paramagatihi. Eshaha parama sampat. Esha parama sampat. Esha paramagatihi. Esha parama sampat. Parama sampat means the ultimate treasure, the ultimate place, gatihi, ultimate treasure. Esho asya paramo lokaha. This is the ultimate loka. There is no more loka other than this. No place to go, nothing to come. Eshaha asya paramanandaha. This is the ananda absolute. This is not, this is, this is something very interesting. Here we have to stop and understand this, because this is also the place of most confusion. Because people say, Brahmananda, the Ananda of Brahman, is beyond words, beyond experience, beyond time. And then all these little Anandas have nothing to do with Brahmananda. And here you are settling for ice cream Ananda when you could have Brahmananda. Dismissing that, the Shruti says, this Ananda alone, in the waking state, you live and eat in bits and pieces you enjoy. Same Ananda. There cannot be two Anandas. Then it's already duality. There is one mundane Ananda and there is one absolute Ananda. And what's the connection between mundane Ananda and absolute Ananda? No connection. How can that be the case? This is a mistake. If there are two Anandas, then one is fooled here. There can only be one Ananda, not two. And that Ananda, is described here as a union of the subject and the object here, complete union. In sleep, it is because there is no other impetus from outside coming in to break up that union. In samadhi, it is a temporary union in the meditation experience. But the best union is through knowledge, where you understand this as yourself, and then no other, when you understand everything is as though, so the as though, papa and punya cannot disrupt this union. Like even an imagined herd of elephants cannot really, overpower you. That's how, when one through knowledge dismisses kartritvam, doership, bhoktritvam, experiencership, dismisses the cravings, when one sees that the very cravings are superimposed as though upon the self. The self is free of all attributes, all superimpositions, but it takes on those superimpositions like even a crystal taking on the red color, yellow color, whatever it is, and behaves in line with that superimposition, leading you to mistake the self for the very thing that it reflects, that it brings to light. When that spoof is gone, when curtain, the veil has been lifted, the veil of Maya has been lifted here. This is Avarna. When this veil has been lifted, it doesn't matter if you're waking or if you're sleeping or if you're, in between, which is what? Dream. Because all those states are also superimposed upon the self, as it were. And I am not the states, I am not the dreamer, I am not the dreaming world, I am not the waker, I am not the waking world, I am not the sleeper, I am not the sleeping world. I am that which visits all of them as though without being any one of them. This is cognitively understood. That's why the states are gone into in deep, analyzed deeply, so that one doesn't fall for any of the states. The waking state is the most difficult to cognitively kind of get a little separation from, to falsify, so to speak. So the waking state is falsified, the dream state is falsified, the sleep state is falsified. And then what remains is the glorious I. But where do I really belong? You belong to yourself. You are at home. But what about the waking state? It's just a little timeshare. You've gone on a holiday. What about the sleep state? That is another timeshare. What about the dream state? Yet one more timeshare. Yeah. You belong to yourself in your own glory, and that glory spreads and then visits the waking state along with the waker and conjures a waking world of all names and forms and conflicts and pleasures and desires. Then it gets tired of that state and enters the sleep state where there is nothing separate from itself. And then what? Then it enters the dream state where all these, where it has fun in like being a mini Ishvara, creating a little personal jagat of colors, names, forms, all kinds of things. It plays. It as though plays, And then in the dream it replays. Yeah, it's a rewind and replay. This is what it is. And so then, this Ananda is not a separate Ananda. And that's why it is said here that Eshaha asya parama sampat, Esho asya parama lokaha, Eshaha asya parama anandaha. Etasya eva anandasya anyani bhutani matram upajivanti. So, everybody in the universe lives with the help of a little lesha, a little inhibited ananda you enjoy in the waking state. What? A piece of that ananda which is crafted through the artificial coming together of the subject and object, a conjured, crafted, what is that? This union of subject and object. Like you and chocolate cake, like you and ice cream, like you seeing a friend after a long time, you becoming one with an experience, or a person, or some kind of an object. And then what? And then in that moment, the craving, the craving I, takes a backstage, because the craving is being fulfilled, so to speak. Other cravings are there, so it's not, the craving I is not gone. It sits back, and then it's able to witness part of, here the I has as though morphed into the witness of this union, and therefore it can say, I am enjoying these two things coming together in my life. Finally my life is coming together. But then it's a small little Ananda, an inhibited Ananda. Why? Because the witness is alive here, assessing the situation. How much am I enjoying? How much is this union? How long is it going to last? When is it going to end? Why is it going to end? Oh no, when can I reinvent this? So the experiencer is separate. The experience, in the moment they come together, but then there is someone then watches and then critiques and writes an analysis of this experience. The experiencer experienced union is observed by the witness, and all three are a spoof of that self. So who is the experiencer? Atma, Jyotihi, all light. What is the object of experience? Atma, Jyotihi. Who is the witness who is writing a thesis on this experience? Atma, Jyotihi. So what is this Atma? Neither the experiencer nor the experience nor the means of experience like sight, sound, etc. None of them. Oh, then Atma is, so experience is not Atma. I didn't say that. Experience is Atma. Atma is not the experience. Experiencer is non-separate from the Atma. Atma is not the experiencer. Means of experience is Atma. Atma is not the means of experience. And this when you know, then this is the only loka, Brahmaloka. Brahmaloka is what you can go with your punya and all. You go somewhere and Lord Brahmaji teaches you. Jyotir-Brāhmaṇa, So, this is the only loka possible. Meaning this is the ultimate, this knowledge is the ultimate, because knowing this, one is always in Ananda. One is, like in sleep, but awakened to that Ananda, where nothing matters, where nobody is coming to get me, where I know that the subject and object are just but superimpositions on that self, free of objectness, free of subjectness, free of status of subject, object, or means of experience. That freedom alone is understood, and when it is understood, it is moksha. When it is not understood, one, as I said in the first class, one is sitting at the, one is sitting at the table of life. Doing what? Waiting for scraps of Ananda. Everyone can change their name to Scrap Ananda. Yeah. Waiting for little scraps of Ananda, discrete experiences that I can just, I can just have. And then I can just have this, and then go on and write it up in my journal, and then say, I have had one Ananda. Now this is second Ananda, third Ananda, fourth Ananda, fifth Ananda, and keep on counting. Each one is finite. So I have made the infinite into finite because I want to count. This is the problem. And so, therefore what? In this kind of an inhibited Ananda, there are gradations. And the same thing that was said by the Taittiriya Upanishad is reiterated here in the Bṛhadāraṇyaka Upaniṣad. Let's imagine one unit of human Ananda. Correct? And what is one unit of human Ananda? Yeah, so Yuva Syat Sadhu Yubadhyayakaha. Let's imagine a young person, man, because more strong and confident, unassailed by sexism and all these things. That's why man. Upanishad imagines a young man. Young means restless, correct? Young and restless go together. No. Sadhu Yuva is almost like a sadhu. Must be, must be added, because how is this possible? Adhyayakaha. No, he's gone to university. No, gone to university, but no culture, no home training. Ashishtaha, very well trained at home. Dradhishtaha, certainly knows what they want, not wishy-washy. Must be a nerd. You say foo and the person falls off. Balishtaha, strong. Now he's looking like son-in-law material for the traditional Indian family. In fact, one wants to give their daughter to him. Such a nice, well-educated, nice young man, The father here is convinced, yes, my daughter can go, let's find out, Mama is convinced. Mama means uncle. Yeah. Everyone in India is uncle and aunt. Mommy, being practical, auntie, is a little skeptical. She says, show me the money. Who cares if he's strong? Who cares if he's powerful? Who cares if he has PhD? Doesn't matter. Show me the money. And here the Upanishad says, Tasyevam prithivi, iyam prithivi vittasya purna syat. Don't worry, mommy. Don't worry, auntie. It's as though the whole earth, along with all her riches, water wealth, tree wealth, mineral wealth, diamonds, gold, everything belongs to this young man. Mommy says, okay, forget the horoscopes. Let them get married. This is how it is. Then, Sa eko manusha ananda. This is the ultimate ananda that you can get in this universe. You can imagine this is the one unit of ideal type happiness. You have everything you want. You're very rich. You're strong. You're young. You're able to do things. You're well educated. You're on top of the world. This is the ultimate reaches of human happiness. But it is soon surpassed. You multiply this one unit of ideal human happiness into 100. This is called Vedantic mathematics. Teye shatam manusha ananda. Multiply it by 100. Then what do you get? Saya eko gandharvananda. Then you get 1 unit of a lower rung celestial's happiness. People, not people, they are celestials. Gandharvas, yakshas, kinnaras in Gandharva Loka. And what do? They sing melodiously and they are much happier than you. Even though you have all the earthly possessions, they don't have anything but other than their voice and some instruments, but they seem happier than you. Not fair, you say, but that's how it is. Then what do? Not being satisfied with this scheme of things. You want to know what else is out there, and you multiply the Gandharvananda into 100. Teye shatam Gandharvananda saya eko pitrananchira lokalokanamaananda. Then you get 1 unit of the ancestral realm of happiness, where all your good ancestors, not the shady ones, but the ones who have done good karma, go. And they are having a good time there, and they are having so much more happiness than 100 times of the Gandharva, the celestial happiness they are sitting and enjoying. And what has happened? It's like seeing NASA pictures. First you see the earth, a blue marble, this is where I belong. And then what? Then you see the solar system picture, and the earth is little a pixel. Then you see the Milky Way picture, and then what? The sun is a pixel. Pixel means occupying no space. Like this it is happening. So now what happened to the Manushyananda? Manushyananda is gone. There is no Manushyananda. What Manushya? What Manushya itself is not there. What Ananda? And then what? Then you want to look and see what more is there. Then what do you have to do? Now you know. What do you have to do? The ancestral Ananda? Multiply that by 100. Teye shatam pitrananchira lokalokanamaananda saya eko karma devanamananda. Then you get the happiness and 1 unit of happiness enjoyed by what is called karma devatas, some kind of higher rung celestials. But you know, what are they? These higher rung celestials also are wringing their hands out, because these are all chaiwalas, karma devas. Karma devas means they bring tea to Indra and, Yama and all. And then tea breaks. These are, gopher devatas. Like when Yama wants to send Indra a fax. Celestial fax. Like, this person must not be led to heaven. This shady soul, shady jiva that has come here has escaped the warehouse and maybe headed over there. Stop. So immediately, telepathically, the karma devas are summoned. The karma deva is summoned and given this message, and the karma deva, flies with the help of lightning and goes deliver that message. And that karma deva is what? 10 million times happier than you. Oh, is there anything beyond? Sure there is. What do you have to do? Multiply that 1 unit of karma deva's happiness into 100. Tege shatam karma deva namanandah. Then what? Then you get one more happiness. Saya eko deva namanandah. So now those devas served by the karma devas are of course happier than the one. Actually, the person who brings you tea, is not as happy as you, because you don't have to bring the person tea. That person is bringing you tea. Correct? So then the devas are happier than the chaiwala here, the person who is bringing tea and carrying faxes, the gopher devatas. Gopher devatas are 10 million times happier than you, and those that they serve are what? Now 1 billion times happier than you. And where is one Manushyananda? Where is the son-in-law material? Where is all this gone? Nothing. It's not even a pixel at this point anymore. Oh, is there more? Yes. Then all the devas ananda, you multiply it into 100. Teye shatam deva namanandah saya eko indrasyanandah. Then you get a miserable 1 unit of Indra, the controller of all the devas, his happiness. Because he has a bungalow, okay? Yeah. And he controls all the devas. He sends them here, goes them there, vanquish these demons here. Oh, those asuras are creating problems, take care of them. Give this karma to this person, give that to this person. But nobody controls him. Really? Nobody? Well, let's find out. Tege shatam indrasyanandah. You multiply his ananda by 100. Indra's boss, Bṛhadāraṇyaka, Indra's guru. Yeah. Indra's guru, whose name is what? Bṛhadāraṇyaka, Jupiter. Yeah, guru. That guru has got much more ananda than Indra. And the guru has one dada, another grand guru, Prajapati, Brahmaji. Correct? So like this, it is endless. Endlessly multiplied ananda. And where is your little tiny bit of ananda? What happened to this ananda? It's not even discernible in what? In the microscope at this point. It's not even there. It's as good as non-existence. So even getting the ultimate ananda that you can get in this realm of what? Of the human experience. You don't have anything because there's so much more which you cannot get unless you are a deva, unless you become Indra. Is it possible to become Indra? Say no.
No.
Yeah. Is it possible to become some deva here, there? No. Is it possible to experience all this ananda by taking on all these avatars? No. Ayyo. We started off on such a high note, and alas, as the retreat is ending, I suppose this is what Vedanta is. You have to come down to the reality. What is the reality? That you're stuck with only one little form of Ananda. Not true. Because there is a refrain. Saya eko manusha anandaha shrotriyasya cha kamahatasya. This Ananda belongs to what? Someone called a Shrotriya. And here described as avrajinaha, akamahataha. Avrajinaha means free of papa. How to be free of papa? Free of Raga Dresha and having this knowledge that I am free of papa. That is how to be free of papa, free of punya. You know? Shrotriyaha means the one who has studied properly with a teacher. A committed exposure to the knowledge. Akamahataha, not hijacked by desires. You have to be careful how you resolve that compound. You cannot say akamena hataha, killed by no desire. No. Not hijacked by desire. So there is a person sitting under a tree, you know, not having many possessions, just there, not engaging in anything. And the only possession that they have, if it can be called a possession, is this knowledge that they have gained from the teacher. And they have gained the 1 unit of human Ananda. Then you multiply it by 100, then you get 1 unit of celestial Ananda. Do they have that? Yes, because after that is described Shrotriyasya cha kamahatasya. That also belongs to this person of knowledge. So this person of knowledge enjoys the gamut of all Anandas in this loka without needing to take on those incarnations. If one understands this. If one doesn't understand this, what happens? One is just sitting there, you know, spewing discontent, pain, sorrow, wondering, when will I get that other level of Ananda? How to get more and more and more? But that more is you. The one who wants to get is you. That which you want to get is also you, non-separate from you. That has to be understood. Otherwise, matrameva upajivanti. Otherwise, the people who are ignorant of this knowledge live a truncated, inhibited life, forever searching for something that is already belonging to them. Without knowing that, they try to cut up the experiences into experiencer experienced and only experience a little bit, a slice of Ananda, a sliver of Ananda, when you can have the whole thing. Why settle for so little? This is the whole idea. And so this is what the sleep state teaches. The sleep state doesn't say you have to go to sleep in order to receive this Ananda. No. The sleep state says the Ananda of sleep is but a form of the inhibited Ananda that you experience in the waking state and in the dream state. But it seems more complete because there is nothing to disturb it and there is no separation of experiencer and experienced. So how to make the experiencer and experienced one? Well, you don't have to, because fortunately experiencer experienced means of experience is already one. One Jyotihi, Antar Jyotihi, Hridi Tishtan, which is the heart of everything. This light of all lights, as though morphs into experiencer, as though morphs into experience, and the means of experience, sight, sound, etc., without being any one of them. Free, wonderful. Same thing you can say, knower, known, knowledge. Seer, seen, sight. Hearer, heard, and, hearing. Taster, tasted, and taste, tongue. All of this, you can just keep on doing this. Actor, acted upon, and means of action. Recipient of action and all this, bhokta, bhoktru, and all these things. The object of enjoyment, object of experience, subject of experience, means of experience, everything. All of this follows the same rules. When you believe this separation, when you identify with this separation, then the ananda that is received is just a minute, minuscule sliver of the ananda, like a new moon, like a moon that is just the first day, like a crescent moon. So, this is what, this is what he says, is that this cut up ananda makes one all, fragmented and feels that one has been cut up into pieces. But the truth is that one is the whole light of all lights. And therefore what? 1,000 more cows. Yeah. 1,000 more cows he gives to get what? To get a little more teaching. That is not so much pertinent for us, because he wants to know what happens when one gives up this body, when one doesn't have this knowledge. And that is given as that is, what happens from verse 33 onwards, that we are not going to be looking at, because, that is not pertinent. Because we already know, we don't need to know what happens when you give up this body without knowing this knowledge. Because we already know what it is like to live with this body without knowing this knowledge. So no need to have it, don't need to give up anything. Yeah. And then, the whole experience of death and sleep together are all talked about, but death is really not death, because from the ashes of this death emerges a new jiva. All this is talked about. That's not quite pertinent to this. All we have to, this is a good place to, in terms of the text, the text, a good place for the culmination of this, because we started with the whole, wrong understanding. Wrong understanding of oneself as an actor and oneself as acted upon. Sometimes I'm the doer, sometimes I'm what? Done in by other people's doings. And then what? And then done in by other people's doings. And then sometimes karta, sometimes bhokta, karta bhokta, It's like somebody sent me one video. There are 4 kittens, and they are watching a ping pong ball match. All of them in unison, going like this. It was cute, but it was also very telling. Karta, bhokta. It's very tiring for all the neck muscles. It's very tiring for the jiva. Now I am a doer. Oh no, now I am done in. Now I am a doer. I can bash up the one who did me in. I go to bash up, but then I am bashed up in the process. Karta, bhokta, and sometimes pramata, prameya. I am the subject of knowledge. I am the agent of knowledge. Now, oh no, I am the one who people are analyzing. Oh, they are calling me a bad person and they are critiquing me and they are dissing me. Oh, now I am back and I'm back in the saddle again, and I can just diss everybody. I think I'll write a blog. Okay, and then what? Oh no, something happened. They shut down my account because I did not, I violated the rules, used 4-letter words or whatever it was. And then what? Now I'm done in. Now doer. Now done in. Very tiring. So sad and so tiring. And then what? This knowledge is a brace on the neck. Not much movement, not much room to move. You don't become karta, you don't become bhokta, you stay there and see this unchanging light of all lights as you. And the light as though goes forth and illuminates the karta, as though goes back to itself, as though goes forth, illuminates the one who is done in, as though goes back to itself. That's what it is. This is what is called, in the chapter The 10th, yesterday we talked about the 8th chapter of Panchadashi. Today we can end on the note of the 10th chapter of Panchadashi, Nataka Deepa, where there is a stage, there are accompanists, musicians, and then the star of the show, the dancer, comes on the stage. But actually, is the dancer the star of the show? No, the light is the star of the show. The light lights up the dancer, lights up the audience. Dancer, doer, audience, bhokta. You see, accompanists, the means of knowledge, everything it lights up. And the light does not identify with either the dancer or the audience or the accompanists. That light is a neutral light that brings everything to light without being any one thing. And that is what it's going to take to abide as this Jyoti. When? Right now? Right here? Right now. Om Purnamada Purnamidam Purnat Purnamudachyate Purnasya Purnamadaya Purnamevavashishyate. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Harihi Om Shri Gurubhyo Namaha. Harihi Om. Some timings got messed up. I don't know how, but it doesn't matter. Yeah. So we can have some time for questions. Questions, queries. Queries, worries. Yeah, good, you were able to take it. Somebody is liking the retreat. Beena is saying thank you. Anything? No questions? Nothing? Yeah, nothing to wish. Yeah, no wishes. Anything that's not clear? Yes. Yes, Kate and then Vasanti and then Nancy. Yes.
So, I am just not really clear about what happens when the body drops.
Yeah. We didn't discuss what happens when the body drops. We didn't go there. We stopped.
Right,
We fell short of that. Yeah. But to answer your question, the same thing happens as when you sleep, and then from sleep you go into dream. So the body dropping is like sleep. There is undifferentiated. And from dream, from sleep you go into dream. You go get another body. Yeah.
Okay, so, but is it the same, like, for me, is it the same Kateness that goes to the next body?
Well, there are 17 constituents that travel. Yeah. 17 things go with the jiva. It is no longer called Kate because the name has gone, the form has gone. It is yet to be named by its new parents that it's still searching for. So what it knows that the kind of parents it wants and it will get is connected to the karma. So the karma goes, the 5 organs of action or what they represent, the potential of what they can do go. The 5 sense organs go with you as the jiva who doesn't know this knowledge. The 5 pranas go. So 5 pranas, 5 organs of action, 5 sense organs, 15. And manaha, mind, and with all its impressions, raga, dveshas definitely travel. Unlimited baggage. They don't charge here for suitcases. If you say, I have one more suitcase of raga, dvesha, bring it on. No excess baggage. Only airline, which is the Jivik Airlines, traveling Jiva Airlines.
But
You
then
can bring, wait, let me finish, okay? Then that is the 16th one is the Manaha representing Raga Dveshas, and the Buddhi, Ahankara, all of them go. So this is 17 constituents go along with that Jiva that doesn't have this knowledge, and incarnates with the previous samskaras of all and the previous karmas, everything, into another gross body in order to work out its desires, work out its ignorance. And that craving goes. The craving is really for this knowledge, but it doesn't know. The morphed craving goes. Refracted cravings in the form of I want this, I want that, all nonsensical things of want, all of them go.
But then, for the Jivan Mukti, the one who does know before the
Yeah.
body drops,
Yes. Then what happens?
does that Jivan Mukti's
Jivan Mukta. Mukti is the state.
Jivan Mukta.
Yeah.
The sage. Does that sage's
Yeah.
personality?
No, the sage doesn't have personality. The personality is an as though superimposition, and the sage knows.
So
the personality doesn't bind. There is no binding personality.
So there is
nothing that travels.
nothing that travels.
Yeah, I'll tell you what happens when the sage departs. And that's why we have a celebration. Even though one may be feeling sad, when the sage departs, we have a celebration because finally the travel has come to an end. So the body drops and it is there for everyone to see, correct? The gross body drops, the gross body is left behind, and the subtle body is freed of all desires. So the subtle body, the gross body joins the 5 elements because it's either burnt or interred under the ground, correct? It's disposed of, it goes back to the 5 elements. The subtle body goes back to the subtle 5 elements. And the Karana Sharira, which is in the form of Ajnanam, the ignorance, is called causal body because that's the cause of birth. The causal body is an empty shell. There is no cause of birth because the cause of birth, which is ignorance, self-ignorance has been resolved. So therefore, it does not travel. That is the vehicle which powers, that is the fuel for all the subtle body to go into another place. So the causal body is an empty shell, it's not even there. So there is nothing that travels. While the person was alive, that person was revered as Bhagavan, as Ishvara. So after the person, dies, the person's body dies, the person is still alive, revered as Ishvara with a particular form and name. Just like we have Shiva, Narayana, then you can also worship the sage, Ishvara in the form of this sage. Yeah. Consciousness doesn't die.
But the form and name are as those.
Yeah, exactly. The form and name become, a kind of an altar of surrender for the one to whom that form and name speaks something. Yeah. Nice question. Yeah. Next.
When the dream state was spoken about,
Yeah.
it felt as though one can order the dream. That is, I want blue, I don't want blue, I'll have yellow. But
Yeah.
in our everyday experience, you are helplessly thrown into a dream.
Yeah, it is true. Both are true. To a certain extent, your Raga Dveshas order the dream, but as I said, there are concentric circles. There is Ishvara's Kartritvam, Ishvara's Jagat. Inside that, your own Jagat. So the Ishvaric laws also apply in the dream state. Yeah. So it's an inhibited creation, correct? So it can never be a free creation. That's why you have to get this knowledge. Because if you are able to have your own dream and however you want it, then nobody would be coming for Vedanta.
But Ishvara's dream is perfect.
Ishvara's dream is, you cannot call the Jagat Ishvara's dream. Yeah. Ishvara's projection is infallible, and that includes your crazy dream. Yeah. Next. Yes.
So, what I find is that when you speak and I'm listening carefully and taking notes, things begin to be understood.
Yeah.
And then I lose it.
Yeah.
How do you hang on?
You take more classes. You immerse in it more. And we have a lot of online classes. Doesn't even require travel. In the beginning, it is hard to, take online classes because you don't have enough of a connection with a live person in order to be able to relate to them online. But you've had enough of a connection with me, and I believe you can do that. So when you take the classes online, it's really the same. Many people do this. Many people take it online. Some people have never even met and they take it all online, And I know they are learning because I ask very pertinent questions, and when I ask a question, they know the answer. So I know they have been listening. So I know it's having an effect. It's all in how you study. So you need more of an immersion. That's all it is. If everything is clear, but then one is not able to retain it, it's not memory. Thankfully, the self is not based on memory. Memory is based on the self.
No, it's not memory.
Right. It's being in it, abiding in it.
It's sort of counterintuitive.
Yes, exactly. Because it doesn't, reflect the waking state. That's why it is counterintuitive, because you're surrounded by the so-called duality which overpowers. And so that should not overpower. This has to become the reality. A little more immersion is needed. Like we have a sweet, a ball of calories called Gulab Jamun. So fried ball of flour and milk powder and everything, And then that is first fried, made into a ball, fried. And then what? Then it is lifted with a slotted spoon and put in the sugar syrup. Then it bobs up and down. It resists. And then you put a lid on it and leave it overnight. It's a fragrant sugar syrup with cardamom, saffron and rose essence. And the next morning all of them have settled down. So the jiva is like that. It's frying in the hot oil of samsara. Let me out! The slotted spoon is the teacher. And the shastra lifts it. And the teacher lifts it and puts it in the syrup of the shastra. Immerse yourself. First it resists, bobs up and down, and with a spoon you have to hit each one of the head. Stay. Tishtha. In the pan. And then you put a lid on it, you soak. And then what? Raso vaisaha rasagrihyevayam labdhva nandi bhavati. This Atma is the juiciest of everything. Not my words, the words of the Shastra. Juicy Atma, because it lacks nothing, it is all Ananda. But it has to be as though put in an Ananda sauce, so to speak, because it doesn't know itself. So the Shastra has to remove that counterintuitive experiential duality. So you have to immerse yourself a little more into that. That's all it is. Next, there is something online, let us see. How to distinguish between Raga, Dresha and Swadharma, and at what time can we say never mind or this needs to be minded? Well, Raga, Dresha is what you want to do, what you don't want to do. Swadharma is what needs to be done. Swadharma should not be left, and you cannot leave Swadharma. Swadharma has to continue to be done as in karma yoga, as something that naturally frees you from everything else, because there is nothing binding about it. Okay? So that is what the thing is. And so if you do Swadharma without any involvement, then it becomes redeeming. It helps you to overcome this. Could you say more about the Sanskrit class starting in January? I'm teaching a Sanskrit class. It will start in the middle of January. I don't know the date, I don't know the times yet, but I don't know what more to say. You're welcome to join. That's all it is. It will be a university class actually. So I would like it to meet twice a week, and so that's what we'll do. Beginning Sanskrit, and I hope, and it will be for people who know the alphabet. If you don't know the alphabet, you have until the end of January to learn the alphabet and then come and join the class. I'll make some flyer and put it somewhere. Online, all online, yes. Anything else? Okay. Om Sarve Bhavantu Sukhinah, Sarve Santu Niramayah, Sarve Bhadrani Pashyantu, मा कश्चित् दुःखभाग् भवेत् असतो मा सद्गमय तमसो मा ज्योतिर्गमय मृत्योर्मा अमृतं गमय ॐ शान्ति शान्ति शान्तिः हरिः ॐ श्री गुरुभ्यो नमः हरिः ॐ. Yeah, there is some prasad that the students have prepared, so please come and receive. So what we have is some talks, and the talks are on this